The biting November wind whipped around us, stinging my cheeks and making my eyes water. Rain threatened, a heavy, oppressive sky pressing down on the desolate platform. "Remind me again why we're doing this, Liam?" I asked, pulling my scarf tighter. Liam grinned, his eyes sparkling with a reckless energy I simultaneously admired and dreaded. "Adventure, Maya. Pure, unadulterated adventure. Besides," he added, lowering his voice conspiratorially, "I heard the stories. They say Northwood Station is haunted. A proper ghost story, just in time for the holidays. Northwood Station, abandoned for over 50 years after a series of unexplained disappearances. It was a local legend. The last train supposedly never arrived, vanishing along with its passengers and crew. Rational minds dismissed it as folklore, fueled by tragic accidents and urban anxieties. But Liam, ever the thrill-seeker, was determined to experience it for himself. And because I was Maya, Liam's perpetually anxious best friend, I was along for the ride. Haunted? Liam, come on. It's probably just rusty pipes and some overactive imaginations. I shivered, even though the cold wasn't entirely to blame. The station itself was unsettling, a gothic monstrosity of decaying brick and shattered glass. The air hung thick with the scent of damp earth and something vaguely metallic, like old blood. He just laughed, pulling 2 cans of energy drink from his backpack. "That's what they want you to think, Maya. But some things can't be explained away by science." He popped the top of a can and handed it to me. "Trust me, this will be epic." The epic began with finding a hole in the perimeter fence. A quick scramble later, and we were trespassing on forbidden ground. The station platform stretched before us, long and eerily silent. Rust-colored stains patterned the concrete like macabre artwork, and weeds sprouted aggressively through the cracks. The main station building was a gaping maw of darkness. We cautiously approached, our footsteps echoing eerily in the cavernous space. The ticket booth was a ruined cage of splintered wood and broken glass. Posters advertising long-gone destinations peeled from the walls, their colors faded and distorted, like memories struggling to hold form. Liam pulled out his phone, its flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. "Okay, let's find the old waiting room. That's where the disappearances supposedly started." The waiting room was even more unsettling than the main hall. Dust lay thick on the decaying furniture, like a burial shroud. A tattered newspaper lay open on a table, the headline screaming about the missing train. The date was November 24th, 1972. "Creepy, right?" Liam whispered, a hint of genuine awe in his voice. "Beyond creepy?" I muttered, my skin crawling. I felt like we were intruding on something sacred, something that wanted to be left alone. We spent the next hour exploring the station, Liam documenting everything with his phone camera. The deeper we went, the more palpable the sense of unease became. We found the old baggage claim, now filled with cobwebs and the skeletal remains of luggage. We found the dispatcher's office, its control panel frozen in time, needles stuck on long-forgotten readings. As the sun began to set, casting long, distorted shadows across the station, I insisted we leave. "Liam, this is enough. I'm getting a really bad feeling." He sighed, but I could tell he was starting to feel it too. All right. One last thing. I want to check out the tunnel. The tunnel. The dark, gaping maw that led beneath the station, disappearing into the earth. According to legend, that's where the train vanished. "Absolutely not," I said firmly. "We are not going into that tunnel. Just a peek, Maya. Come on. Where's your sense of adventure?" I glared at him. My sense of self-preservation is telling me to run screaming in the opposite direction. He pouted, but I stood my ground. We argued for a few minutes, the tension rising with the encroaching darkness. Finally, he relented. Fine. We'll go, but just to the entrance. Deal?" I reluctantly agreed. The tunnel entrance was even more sinister than I imagined. The air emanating from it was noticeably colder, carrying a faint, sickly sweet odor that made my stomach churn. As we approached, I thought I heard something, a low, muffled rumble, like distant thunder, or the sound of a train approaching. "Did you hear that?" I whispered, grabbing Liam's arm. He frowned, listening intently. "Hear what?" "I don't hear anything. But I knew I'd heard something." The rumble intensified, growing louder, closer. Then, a faint flicker of light appeared in the depths of the tunnel, growing steadily brighter. "Liam, we need to go. Now!" I pulled at his arm, panic clawing at my throat. He hesitated for a moment, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and morbid fascination. Then he seemed to snap out of it. Okay, let's get out of here." We turned and ran, our feet pounding on the concrete platform. Behind us, the rumble grew deafening, the light blinding. It sounded like a train, an old, monstrous train, hurtling towards us at impossible speed. We reached the station building and scrambled through the broken doorway, seeking shelter in the relative darkness. The train roared past the entrance, a blur of light and metal, shaking the very foundations of the building. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it was gone, swallowed by the darkness of the tunnel. We stood there, panting, hearts hammering against our ribs, listening to the echoes fade. The silence that followed was even more terrifying than the noise. What was that?" Liam stammered, his face pale in the dim light. I shook my head, unable to speak. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was something unnatural, something that shouldn't exist. "We need to leave," I managed to say, my voice trembling. "We need to leave right now." We turned to leave, but stopped dead in our tracks. Standing in the entrance of the waiting room, bathed in the eerie moonlight filtering through the broken windows, was a figure. A tall, gaunt figure, dressed in a tattered conductor's uniform, its face obscured by shadow. "Tickets, please," it rasped, its voice like nails on a chalkboard. Liam and I froze, paralyzed with fear. We stood there, staring at the figure, unable to move, unable to breathe. The figure took a step closer, its skeletal hand outstretched. "Tickets, please. The train is leaving soon." I don't know what possessed me, but I suddenly found my voice. We don't have any tickets." The figure tilted its head, as if considering this. Then, it let out a low, chilling laugh. "No tickets? Then you'll have to pay the fare." What fare?" Liam managed to choke out. The figure took another step closer, its shadowed face now inches from Liam's. "Your souls." It lunged. Liam screamed, pushing me behind him. The figure grabbed him, its grip like ice. Liam struggled, but the figure was too strong. It began to pull him towards the waiting room, towards the darkness. "Maya, run! Get out of here!" Liam yelled, his voice fading as he was dragged away. I stood there for a moment, frozen in terror, watching as Liam disappeared into the shadows. Then, finally, my survival instincts kicked in. I turned and ran, sprinting through the station building, towards the hole in the fence, towards freedom. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see what was happening to Liam. I just wanted to get away, to escape the nightmare of Northwood Station. I scrambled through the fence and ran as fast as I could, not stopping until I reached the main road. I collapsed on the sidewalk, gasping for air, tears streaming down my face. I tried to call Liam, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I called the police, but they dismissed my story as the ramblings of a hysterical teenager. They said there was no evidence of anyone being at Northwood Station. No sign of a struggle, no sign of Liam. They said it was all in my head. But I know what I saw. I know what happened. Liam is gone, taken by something evil that lurks in the darkness of Northwood Station. Now I live with the guilt, the horror, and the knowledge that the last train to Northwood Station is still running, and it's always looking for new passengers. I can still hear the rumble of the train in my dreams, the chilling laughter of the conductor, and Liam's desperate plea. I never told anyone the full story. Who would believe me? I'm branded now, haunted by the memory. Sometimes, late at night, when the wind howls outside my window, I swear I can smell the metallic scent of old blood and hear the faint whisper of a voice saying, "Tickets, please." The station remains, a silent testament to the horrors that took place there. a place where the veil between worlds is thin, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. And I, Maya, am forever bound to its chilling tale, a survivor burdened by the truth, a truth that no one else will ever know or ever believe. The last train took Liam, and a piece of me went with him, lost forever in the darkness of Northwood Station.